My name is Rick Bronder. I'm a member of FaithWorks. FaithWorks started their relationship with NeighborhoodHouse in 2016. And we actually started that relationship through the OPC because NeighborhoodHouse was calling our coordinator at OPC and asking if FaithWorks could help them with someone that needed a roof patched or needed a new hot water heater, whatever. And so our coordinator at the OPC said, well, why don't you just contact FaithWorks directly? And so that was the beginning of us having a direct relationship with NeighborhoodHouse. We got a call from NeighborhoodHouse, asked us if we could take a lady that was living in a Spartan motel, if we could take her to the grocery store. That was an unusual request, and we don't normally do that, but you know, we felt like, okay, we need to do that. So a couple guys went and picked her up. She needed a walker, and she was elderly. I took her to the grocery store and walked her around the grocery store and took care of her. She was living at Spartan Motel because NeighborhoodHouse was finding her an apartment. And a week later, we got a call asking us if we would move her. We did. We put a crew together and we moved her into a nice apartment. And after we got her moved in there, it was obvious she didn't have any furniture. So we said to her, where are you going to sleep tonight? And she said, well, I'm going to sleep on the floor. And I thought to myself, oh, wow, you know, she's elderly. If she gets down on the floor, I don't know whether she'll get back up. So one of the other guys said, ma'am, I have a queen-size inflatable bed. And it comes up to the regular size of a bed. So he went and got that. And one of the wives who heard the story put together a package for this lady. She put together sheets, a blanket, a couple pillows, and a whole set of towels, and wrapped it up, put a bow around it. And we presented that to her. And this lady was just so overwhelmed. I mean, she was floored. And just seeing that expression of not only surprise but gratitude in her face was just a huge blessing for me and all the other men that were there involved in that move. It has been an honor and a pleasure to serve NeighborhoodHouse because they do a tremendous amount of good. And Scripture tells us that the needy will always be with us. And we are commanded to take care of the poor, to have an open hand to the poor. And that's what we try to do in FaithWorks. And it's been a real blessing.
My name is Kathy Lasinski. I'm the Executive Director at NeighborhoodHouse here in Rochester. We're a nonprofit organization that serves economically underserved persons here in Rochester, Rochester Hills, Auburn Hills, Oakland Township, and Addison Township, which includes Leonard. So we have a 100 square mile service area. Each year from that area, we serve over 3,000 families, 3,000 households who come to us for basic self-sufficiency services. And they might receive services for food. Last year, our food pantry served up 245,000 pounds of food in our community, and that's a lot of food. Our clothes closet is in downtown Rochester under the bridge on Mill Street, and they provide gently used clothing, shoes, and household items to our families in need. And then our administrative office here provides triage and client services beyond those two locations. 1968 was the founding year of NeighborhoodHouse, so this year we're celebrating our 50th birthday very proudly. And we are 50 years of neighbors helping neighbors. It was founded as a volunteer organization in 1968, and we continue to operate on that business model. So each week, NeighborhoodHouse has the benefit of 100 volunteers working for us in skilled areas, and we have over 400 volunteers that help us out every year in a variety of practices. Originally, there were some people in the community community that noticed that others were in need in 1968, and they went to their churches. So a few founding churches contributed $200 each to rent a house over on Romeo Road in downtown Rochester, right near the Dairy Queen, and that's where Neighborhood House started the services. So the churches paid the rent for the first year, and volunteers ran the different services that they would bring social service to Rochester from Pontiac. Pontiac was the center of commerce at the time, and everything came from Pontiac. So one day it would be Catholic Community Services, another day it would be the American Cancer Society, and so forth all week long. And folks in the neighborhood would help out. They'd provide transportation to their appointments. They would help with collecting the food, and at the food pantry initially they literally had one closet of food. You can still see the closet today. Now we have a 2,500 square foot facility that offers not just basic foods, but fresh fruits and vegetables. In the summer there's a garden over there. On Thursdays our clients are able to have food demonstrations teaching them how to cook healthy meals. So it's come a long way from the closet that it was in the beginning. The food was always offered at First Congregational Church in downtown Rochester. Our offices used to be at St. Andrew Church in downtown Rochester, where we lived with our administrative office for 45 years for free. And then we were not able to provide the number of services that we wanted or aspired to do. So we undertook, we did get a nice pledge from a donor for a $500,000 donation over 4 years' time, and that gave us the courage to go out and buy the building that we now occupy. And so for a year and a half we have been doing client services here at 1720 South Livernois, and we're so proud and grateful to be here every single day. Now we've moved from just doing food and clothes and financial assistance into other sustainability services. So here, our new space has enabled us to start classes and support groups for our clients. We have counseling, fully insured counselors to help our clients with needs of an emotional nature, plus budget counselors, career counselors, people who can help, financial professionals and mentors who can bring people along with whatever kinds of troubles they have in their lives. We also connect with other organizations in the community because we can't do it all. So we're not doctors, we refer to medical people, and so forth and so on. And FaithWorks is one of the critical organizations that helps our clients. You can't go home and be comfortable if your utilities aren't on. We can help with that. Or if there's a writ on your door, we can help with that. But if the roof is leaking, that's not something we can help with. If the plumbing isn't working or the electrical has a problem, we go to FaithWorks here in Rochester, and they have lovingly and uniquely helped our clients along to help us move them along that path to sustainability, which is our main goal, is to help people move from a crisis situation to the self-sufficiency that's going to get them back on their feet and move forward. One of the first experiences I had with FaithWorks personally, because I don't always get involved in the cases, but I was involved with a family who was homeless here in Rochester. I was trying to help this family of four, a mom, a dad, and two girls, get into housing, and the parents were very resistant to moving to a shelter. So they lived in a tent from June until January, and they really resisted moving out of that tent because they wanted to stay together as a family. And if you move to shelters, the family would have been separated. There's really only one shelter in the area that accepts families together. So finally, after many months, we were able to convince the families to come to Neighborhood House for help, and we were able to connect them with a shelter where they could all stay together. And once a family gets into a shelter, those resources are able to do what they call rapid rehousing. But being able to take a family that doesn't have transportation and get them to a shelter and then get them again into an apartment is a huge undertaking. So, and you have to move fast. So it was a Tuesday morning, and the family found out they were going to get into the shelter, and I called Rick immediately and said, can you get some guys over here to help these folks move from their tent to the shelter? And he got over there and got all their belongings into a storage, and they prayed together, and the family felt so blessed to have these guys there supporting them, and it really started their journey toward their new home very positively. So we were really grateful to have the help of FaithWorks on that project in particular.